Welcome into your Football Friday. It is your Morning Minute. Nate Lundy, Shawn Drotar. Thank you for stopping by. MileHighSports.com, 5280sportsnetwork.com, or maybe you were listening to us on the radio this morning. If you were, we talked a little bit about this. There's a lot of talk, including on MileHighSports.com, about whether or not this is Trevor Siemian's last stand, his last chance to solidify that he's the starter for the rest of the season. I don't believe that it's quite that dramatic, but I certainly understand, as you said earlier this morning, Shawn, the most popular person in town is always the backup quarterback. But what realistically does a success or a his job's in trouble look like against the Saints?
Well, I think a success cements it, quite frankly. I think that the Broncos don't really want to move away from Trevor Siemian. So if he plays well and the Broncos win, I think he's cemented as the starter. I think it's going to take something that's disastrous, Nate. We're talking a 3 or 4 interception, no touchdown type of outing, because the Broncos still realize that Paxton Lynch has a long way to go. There's been some notion that Gary Kubiak and John Elway may not see eye to eye entirely. Kubiak more in the Siemian camp. Elway, of course, who traded up to pick Paxton Lynch, maybe we'd like to see him sooner. But if you read in between the lines of what both men said this week, both of them were consistent in saying, Trevor is our guy. Now, granted, there's coach speak, but Gary Kubiak in particular has been remarkably transparent in his time as head coach for the Broncos. You'd have to go through and try to pick out something he said that he didn't mean. I don't know if you'd find it. So I don't think this is Siemian's last stand. I think they really do want Paxton Lynch to redshirt, for lack of a better term, this season, and they'll only put him in if they absolutely have to. And I don't think they'll have to unless Siemian just absolutely has such a bad game that he loses the team.
Well, you're facing off against the Saints, who a couple of weeks ago had their matchup against the Seahawks and played that game in terms of a game plan with Sean Payton, probably the way that they would like to be able to play it against the Broncos. They ran the ball. He put the onus on the offensive line and on his trio of running backs to be able to move the ball and to take some of the pressure off of trying to pass it against a Seattle defense where you've got a secondary that likes to get physical, and obviously they like to come after the quarterback. The interesting thing for Sunday could be that the Saints might be without their left tackle. And if that is the case, then obviously it opens things up to going up against a backup, and DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, we know, would eat that alive. So if they can get in and get some pressure against Drew Brees, yes, you might give up some yards on the ground. And we know where the Broncos rank in terms of the overall NFL in that. They're not doing very well right now. But if they can get that pressure on Drew Brees, you might be willing to give up some of those rushing yards, Shawn, in order to keep Drew Brees from beating you with his arm.
Yeah, it is funny that we're talking about the potentially run-first offense of the New Orleans Saints this week. Up is down, black is white. What a week. But the scenario there is possible, because you're right. You know, they've run very well. They're having a good tandem, but we'll see. The Broncos are trying to make one of their own now as well. I think they're going to go with the hot hand between Devontae Booker and Capri Bibbs. Last time they were in New Orleans, 2004. Ruben Drones ran for 166 yards and a touchdown.
Flashback.
If the Broncos could even get Bibbs and Booker to combine for that, they'd be delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. Some very interesting matchups to be watching in this game, especially in the trenches, paying attention to what they do without Derek Wolfe, what the secondary can do against a very talented receiving core with the Saints. Can they contain the two running backs in Tim Hightower and Mark Ingram? Can they also keep Kobe Fleener in check from the tight end position? And, of course, a future Hall of Famer in Drew Brees, who can beat you with his arm at any given moment. So this is going to be a very interesting game on Sunday. Fully expected to be a close game. Probably going to be chewing the fingernails there late. I have a feeling that's going to be that kind of a game on Sunday morning. We will be back with you on Monday to be able to react with you to everything that happens on Sunday, as the Broncos will get into their bye week. But enjoy the weekend. Happy Veterans Day, everyone. All of you that served, thank you so much for your service and caring about all of us in this country. We appreciate it so much. Enjoy the weekend. Spend it with friends and family, and we will talk with you next week, 7 a.m. Monday morning on Mile High Sports Radio. For Shawn, I'm Nate. See ya.